Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, in Indonesia time and also midnight in Argentina time. Respectable Professor Suhono Horso Supangkat and also Dr. Haji Sandiaga Uno and also Insinyur Edi Satria as our presenters and also Ibu Gusti Raganatri and also Pak Jo Lamban Guo, and then also Bu Grace Hani, and also Professor Gabriela Rigoni, and also Dr. Imade Arya Sanjaya, and also respectable all participants of these webinars. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to the GoSmart 2020 webinar session. GoSmart 2022 is the annual activity organized by Smart City and also Community Innovation Center ITB, which aims to create smart communities, smart people, smart villages, smart cities, smart districts, smart provinces in solving problems, and also global issues. GoSmart 2022 will take the themes of the global recovery together with the title Goes to Smart Decisions, Recover Together, Recover Stronger. The webinar title for today is Harnessing Digital Technologies to Accelerate SMEs, Startups, and also Creative Industry. Let me introduce myself. My name is Santi Novani as a researcher at Smart City and Community Innovation Centers, Institute Teknologi Bandung, and I would be your moderator for today. So on this special event, we have several agendas as follows. First is singing National Anthem Indonesia Raya, and also opening from head of Smart City and Community Innovation Center, Institute Teknologi Bandung, and then followed by the opening remarks and the next speaker session, which give the presentation, and after that, followed by the question and answer. So the last but not least is the closing. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let's open this webinar ceremony by reciting Basmalah and followed by the singing National Anthem Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia, tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, cari padu ibuku. Indonesia, kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang kucinta. Indonesia merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang kucinta. Indonesia merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next agenda would be the opening speech. Allow us to invite Professor Suhono Harso Supangkat as the head of Smart City and Community Innovation Center, Institute Teknologi Bandung, to deliver the welcome remark. Please welcome Pak Suhono.
Ya, terima kasih. Thank you, Mbak Santi. His Excellency, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, Dr. Haji Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, and our also Excellency Deputy of Micro Business from Ministry of Small Medium Enterprise. Sorry for this Indonesian. My best friend, Insinyur Edi Satria MA, and also author of the T20 Task Force 2, Gusti Reganata from SIGMAPI Research Indonesia, and Ms. Grace Henny from One Sick Egg Solution, and also Professor Gabriela Rigoni from the Universidad Nacional de La Plata, as a researcher author in F2 T20, and also one of the younger startup in Indonesia, Dr. and Senior Made, Dr. I. Made Arya Sanjaya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good evening, or very night in American Latin, and all our participants. Thank you for your coming in a very meaningful discussion. And this activity, as like Dr. Santi explained, is in conjunction as a Smart City and Community Innovation Center of ITB, Bandung Institute of Technology, as a host institution. Every year, SCGIC organize Kue Smart but only Indonesia in the starting 8 years ago. But this year, we extend in conjunction with the G20, whereas the Indonesia as a presidency for the G20 2022. And Smart City and Community Center as a host institution, especially for the Task Force 2 in Think Tank 20. Think Tank T20 is one of the formal engagement of the G20, is one of the engagement to produce the idea from the independent, include government, include university or institute for research to contribute to solve of the shaping our problem or challenge in health recovery or economic recovery, climate change, etc., etc. And Task Force 2, where host institution is Smart City and Community, have 9 policy areas. One is the connectivity, and also digitalization, smartization, data governance, and also in AI and ethics, also in cybersecurity, and one is important also in digitalization in smart and small medium enterprise, and also one of these important in international collaboration. Besides this, we also offer the side event. There are 2 side events. One is the Smarter World Innovation Challenge that is opened last month by Professor Bambang Brejo Negoro. It's an international or global ideation challenge for our Smarter World. And the second of our side events is the Smarter World Living Lab. We choose the small area in the city or in the rural or the maritime, and we approach with the many sectors and also many components of the area, include government, include technology developers, include community, and engagement between the community, government, industry to improve the quality of life. Urban living lab, rural living lab, maritime living lab. In every living lab, there are also any small medium enterprise, tourism. In the first our choosing is in Bandung, in Pasar Simpang or near campus ITB as an urban living lab. And in Indramayu, one is the Smart Maritime Living Lab. There are matches between the tourism, small medium enterprise, and also maritime or ocean challenge in fishery and also ecology, fish up in our blue economy. Of course, in rural digital transformation, also we consider in a rural digital transformation as also one of our considering in a smart village. So there are our homework and a concrete proposal for our G20 to make an international network, and Indonesia is one of these sample for our G20. In G7 is a very developed country, and G8 till G20 is one of the many resolution condition include in rural, urban, and maritime. So once again, thank you for all the participants to contribute to the future of our solution. Thank you very much. I will give to Dr. Santi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Suhono, for delivering the delightful speech and also the insight for us. Thank you. So after this, I think we have the next agenda. It's the opening remarks. So I think we still wait for Pak Sandi Uno. Good morning. Okay, while we are waiting, so the agenda for the next one is the opening remarks. So we have two speakers here. The first is from Dr. Haji Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno as the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, and followed by the Insinyur Edi Satria MA, Deputy of Micro Business from the Ministry of the SME. Selamat pagi, Pak Edi.
Selamat pagi, Mbak.
Okay, we still waiting for Pak Menteri, Pak.
It's okay.
Mohon maaf, Bu Santi.
Okay, yes.
Pak Sandi sudah hadir.
Selamat pagi, Pak Sandi. Very good morning, Pak Sandi. Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum, Pak Sandi. Okay, thank you very much for joining us here, Pak Sandi. So it is
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it is a great pleasure indeed to welcome you all to the Go Smart 2022, Pak Sandi.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, allow me to proceed to the opening remarks, Pak. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Allow us to invite Dr. Haji Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno as the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of Indonesia to deliver his opening remark. Please welcome Pak Menteri, Pak Sandi, to give the opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Ibu Santi Novani. Wow, there is a subtitle in the bottom. And sometimes it's struggling to understand my accent. Hopefully my accent will be okay, Pak Edi Satria. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sehat, salam Indonesia maju penuh semangat. From Kopeng area near Salatiga and Magelang Road, I would like to acknowledge the presence of lead co-chair TF2 T20, Professor Suhono Harso Supangkat, my very good friend, Deputy for Microbusiness from Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs, Bapak Insinyur Edi Satria MA, Go Smart 2022 speakers, political researchers at Sigma Phi Indonesia, Mr. Gusti Raganata, Director of 168 Solution, Grace Henny M, Universidad Nazionale della Plata, Professor Gabriela Rigoni, Chief Executive Officer KZ Digital Indonesia, Dr. Imade Arya Sanjaya, Om Swastiastu, Matur Suksma, Moderator Researcher of SCCIC-ITB, Ms. Santi Novani, STMT PhD, all speakers and participants of GoSmart 2022. Recover together, recover stronger. The COVID-19 pandemic had a significant impact on changing the order of life. Contributions of the creative economy to Indonesia's GDPs reached 7.5%. This puts Indonesia in third place globally in terms of percentage of the creative economy to GDP, after the United States, creative economy increased significantly, 24.15 billion US dollar, or grew 27.31% compared to 2020. Fashion remains the most significant export contributor to the creative economy sector in 2021 with around 60.7%, followed by handicraft, 31.5%, and culinary. Based on data from e-economy SEA 2022 by Google, Temasek, and Bain & Company, currently the digital economy's contributions to Indonesia's economic growth is 70 billion US dollar, or up 49% year on year. It is, however, predicted to increase by 2025, reaching 146 billion US dollar. Fashion, culinary, and crafts will improve the ecosystem of the digital economy in Indonesia and vice versa. Various efforts have been made by the government to improve and collaborate with the private sectors and associations and communities to improve the quality of Indonesia's digital talent. The Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, through the Deputy of Digital Economy and Creative Products, has various digital talent incubations programs, such as Baparekraf Developer Day, Baparekraf for Startup, Baparekraf Digital Talent, and Baparekraf Digital Entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, we can achieve digital economic development according to the target of the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Pak Jokowi, to encourage economic accelerations, create job opportunities, and open up business opportunities to create jobs, so that Indonesia can enter the new economic order to a strategy that we call 3G, gercep, gerak cepat, geber, gerak bersama, and gaspol, garap semua potensi online. We hope this event can be a forum for discussions with Pak Edi Satria, who is an expert in micro business. Hopefully, each party and stakeholders will bring up potential for collaborations between Indonesia and other G20 countries to increase the digital economic ecosystem, in particular technopreneurship. With that, I close my remark. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Thank you, Pak.
Salam.
Very much,
Ya,
Pak Sandi. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Salam sehat, Pak
wabarakatuh.
Menteri.
Salam sehat, Pak.
Salam Pak Edi, Prof, dan juga Bu
Ya,
Santi.
terima kasih.
Sukses.
Thank you, Pak. Yes, I think we have the opening remarks from Pak Sandi. Thank you very much, Pak Sandi, for the delightful speech and also the insight. So there are three strategy from Pak Sandi gercep, geber, dan juga gaspol. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Sandi, once again. And the next for the opening remarks is from Pak Insinyur Edi Satria MA, as a Deputy for Micro Business from Ministry of the Cooperative and also Small Medium Enterprises. So please welcome Pak Insinyur Edi Satria.
Thank you, Mbak Santi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, my good friend, Pak Sandiaga Uno, honorable speakers, here we have Pak Suhono, the smart guy for Indonesia. Also, we have the Professor of Gabriel Rigoni from Argentina, one of the countries that I have not been there yet. So I hopefully sometime I will be there. And also I heard we listen also there are some practitioners, also some of the other professor who joined us this morning. I'm sorry I couldn't say one by name of each of you. And all distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all of us. And also good evening to Professor Rigoni in Argentina. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to continue what Mr. Sandiaga Uno has delivered this morning, we are lucky so far Indonesia because we managed it peacefully in handling the COVID, the pandemic, which now we are stand for the economic growth of 5.01% year on year for this quarter. It means that not only now, but also from the COVID has been declared by earlier of 2020, it shows that Indonesia, our ministers, all of the president's office has taken the right track to move on with COVID at the one hand and the economy in another hand. So all of this makes possible by the use of what we have known so far. All of us will have known that the ICT application is the main reason to grow stronger, stay stronger, and recover also faster for the next coming year. So by making we have to make the two things of this pandemic dance with COVID. I mean, our economy have to make dance with COVID. The tango, maybe we have the Professor Gabriela here. So Indonesian government at the early stage of the 2020 pour hundreds of trillion rupiah in the National Economic Recovery Program, around 700 trillion. And also for the last year, almost 500 trillion rupiah. So that the basic thing here that we know our MSMEs, one of the basic tulang punggung itu, backbone of the economy, can anticipate the COVID impact to our grassroots economy. By saying that, what I mean is that for around 60% of the economy, Indonesia contributed from our MSMEs. And also, as the micro enterprises, it covers by the new rule, the new law of Cipta Kerja. We understand that almost 96% of the nakers itu labor force has been absorbed by this sector. So basically, MSMEs has also to grow up by using up all of the possibilities of the digitalization, meaning that we are lucky, quote and unquote, by having COVID in Indonesia, because we have the momentum, the very best momentum to move faster and jump higher and far to using up the ICT and also the all of technology possible, such as we have now with Zoom for the social networking. But for business itself, we made our e-commerce booming by putting more. At the beginning of the COVID, we only have 8 million of our MSMEs on board with the digital platform, but right now, last month, we have 18.5 million. So it jumped around 130% of the in total number of our MSMEs goes digital. So it makes easier for us to achieve our target for the 30 million by the end of the 2024. So this is one of the situation our MSMEs, our basic economy also booming up with the situation of the last long holiday. Yeah, I mean, after 2 years, we have not yet spent our time with our families in kampong, in village. So everyone from the big cities, like Gabriela and other friends from US, having their hari apa itu? I forgot the hari besar Amerika atau sorry to say, I forgot. But basically, we have the long holidays like Christmas Day and Happy New Year times season to boost all of the possible places for MSMEs, such as the public infrastructure in the station, in the rest area, and also in the airport. We also, our office push up together with the local dinas, local authorities in MSMEs, and we made the commitment with the Jasa Marga, the toll road operators, also the railway operators, to space up, to give up some space in the station. So basically, this is helping all of our microeconomy grow up and stay stronger in the last holiday season. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 transformation programs in our office. First is, of course, transformation from informal to formal micro enterprise. The second is transformation in digitalization, as I mentioned before, and using up the innovation. And the last is transformation to make the supply chains, rantai pasok, supply chains working from small, from the resources, from the upstream to the downstream economy, working together. And in addition, for the basic program for us is we also moving up with the modern cooperatives, kooperasi modern, meaning that we use all the possibility of the digitalization in modernization of our cooperative, so that we can use the records, the cooperative records, and all of the payments in the very good manner, so that they can use it as to when they borrow for money from the bank. Now has no they don't have to give up the agunan itu apa in English. So I'm sorry. Basically, this is our program for the transforming our MSMEs and cooperative into the modern situation. Of course, the the smart thing also it happened in our office. I think my time is over, but let me conclude my presentation, my remark by saying that thank you very much for the effort made by Mr. Suhono. So far, he's never give up. So we are in the Ministry of Cooperative and MSMEs open for you to work together. And then, of course, not only from the ITB, for all of the research institution, from the university, and also from the startup company. I mentioned before some new name for me. I do hope what I have done in also in Bappenas and Ministry of Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, and now in the Ministry of Cooperative and MSMEs, still work hand in hand with Pak Suhono's team in ITB and the rest of the organization for the making our city more smart, yeah, and also our people smarter than before, and also all of the application like transformation or transportation, and also the research agencies is getting smart also with the ministry in Indonesia. By saying that, I conclude my presentation. I'm so sorry because I have not been practicing my English so far yet. I want to visit Argentina sometime, Professor Rigoni. Hopefully, we meet there in the nice city surrounding. I have a lot of friends from Argentina also. Thank you very much. One more time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning and very good evening to all of us. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Pak Edi. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the delightful speech, yeah, from the Ministry of the Cooperatives and also Small Medium Enterprises as the Deputy for Micro Business. Once again, thank you very much, Pak. So you remarked some 3 transformations. Here's the first is transformation from informal to formal, and then also transformation in digitalizations, and also the transformation in the supply chains. So hopefully you can work together, Pak, yeah, not only with ITB, of course, also with other university, because the co-creation or the collaboration is very important, I think, nowadays. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're
so once again, Pak Edi, good luck. Yeah, and then also please stay safe and healthy, Pak. So now we proceed to the speaker sessions. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. So if you have any questions during the presentation, so please type into the question box in the Zoom and also YouTube live chat as follows. You mention your name and also the origin of the agency or the institution, and also the speaker for the questions. And also each speaker will deliver the presentations in 10 minutes because due to the time of the limitations. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our guest speakers. The first, we have Mr. Gusti Raganata. So he is a political researcher at SIGMAPI Indonesia. Today, he will presenting community-based digital financial literacy to promote the financial inclusion. Please, without further ado, would you please welcome Pak Gusti Raganata.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Santi, and dari Pak Edi and also Pak Menteri, Pak Sandi Uno. Thank you so much for your both opening remarks today. And also I want to say hi to Bu Grace and Miss Gabriela and also Pak Suhono as the co-chair of our TF Task Force 2 in T20 organizing committee. And okay, I will share screen about the community financing, community financial literacy education, to help SMSE to achieve their potential. Can I have a minute? Hmm.
Panitia can help the
I think I cannot share screen in here. I will share my presentation to WI, so Panitia can help me to share screen, yeah.
Okay, so from Panitia will share screen your PPT.
Okay, basically before we are waiting the presentation, I want to say that in general, so in G20, in the past 5 years, we also always brought the issue of financial inclusion to promote economic prosperity. And also many policy brief actually regarding the financial inclusion has been published and included on the final communication, yeah, in the leaders meeting, in leaders summit. But sadly, the meeting not always have been successfully defining the digital financial literacy. So that's why I want to share the importance of digital financial literacy and how to promote it to help the SMSE or even individual personal finance arrangement. Yeah. Okay, I think.
Okay, it works.
Yeah,
now.
I think it works. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this paper is by 2%. Yeah, that's me, and also Mas Arif. Yeah, he cannot join us today. So the content is introduction, challenges, background, and proposed solution and conclusion. Okay, next. Okay, from the challenges, and as I said before, that financial access, which was once a severe challenge in underdeveloped countries, it's increasingly become a reality, where it helped by mobile phone technology, urbanization, and also the rise of microfinance and the frequency of remittance have all made it possible for even the poorest rural population to readily access a bank account via a mobile phone or internet connection. We know in the world in general now, as you see the table from the economists, that big tech and also other fintech has helped the unbanked and underbanked population. Yeah, for example, in South Korea and Argentina, the big tech also help the underbanked to have the financial services. So financial literacy, or in particular digital financial literacy, is important issue as emerging countries gain access to more financial service through financial technology. Okay, next. Next. Okay. So technology complementarities can also contribute to large digital divides. So that's why it's important, yeah, to acknowledge the digital financial literacy. And as a larger and more digital savvy firms are more easily able to step up to more advanced digital practice from OECD. So in the case of Indonesia, where low financial literacy meet with a high level of financial inclusion. So we know that in Indonesia, we have 76.20% in financial inclusion, but the financial literacy is as low as 38%. So it will be spurred a high risk on digital divides and antagonize digital financial products. So in the case of mid income country, yeah, we know that many people in compare, like in the left side, I have a comparing between Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia and Singapore. If compare between Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam, although the younger generation or maybe a lot of people in rural area or urban area have access on digital financial services, the financial literacy is not increasing rapidly. And as an impact in Indonesia, especially, almost 8 million USD has been lost to irresponsible investment in illegal digital financing. That become a very important issue, yeah. about the understanding of cryptocurrency investing or stocks investing, etc. And another barrier is like geographical area, inadequate internet infrastructure, and cultural barriers are the obstacle of government efforts to increase financial literacy. So when government has planned or created a roadmap, yeah, to solve this problem, the problem lies on the structural things like geographical and internet infrastructure and cultural barriers. So, for example, the Ministry of Informatics has a plan to increase the internet coverage through the geographical area, yeah, in around the geographical area that are very limited, but the cultural barriers still lies there, yeah. Maybe even in the West Java area where the internet coverage is better compared in the eastern part of Indonesia, the underbanked and unbanked numbers is still higher compared in Makassar, for example. Why it's happened? Because there is cultural barriers. Cultural barriers is like when you want to have a personal account or saving account, they will think it as a very sinful, or maybe it's some kind of personal dislike on the product itself. So it needs to be resolved through the power of community, I think. Next. Okay. So in average, yeah, and also financial inclusion and financial literacy are critical in achieving gender equality, social equity, economic prosperity. That's why I made this paper. And digital financial product is inevitable in the future. Therefore, financial literacy needs to be complemented by digital literacy. So as a propose, I also use the definition that proposed by Mr. Peter Morgan for ADB, that he includes knowledge in 4 main area for digital financial literacy. The first one is fintech product and services, their benefits and drawbacks. The second one is new kinds of risks associated with fintech product and services. 3, ways to protect oneself from this risk. And 4, the methods of redress if losses or other damage from such risks arise. From the left part is the chart of financial inclusion compared in the world average and also upper middle income and also high level income, yeah. So financial inclusion is very high, but in mid low and it's very low. Okay, next. Okay, what happened in Indonesia also happened mainly in mid low income when I said about the fraud and also the challenge of digital financial literacy. Financial inclusion and roles of financial education and also financial consumer protection in addressing demand-side barriers are focused in these circumstances, while financial education programs incorporate financial inclusion measures in others. So it's important to find trusted intermediates while implementing financial education strategies. Although like Indonesia or other countries have the roadmap of financial literacy, we see that from OECD, a lot of countries that have very low, in average still under 60%, where like South Africa and Georgia, even in Europe, yeah, eastern part of Europe, still have under 50% of financial literacy. So when we want to promote financial technology to address of the underbanked and unbanked, we need to acknowledge the problem of digital financial literacy. Why is financial technology is beneficial? Because it can be tailored to the benefit or the advantage of the people itself around the country. So it's very good, yeah, to use financial technology to help the banks to redress the problem of underbanked and unbanked. Okay, next. Cool. So my proposed solution is creating curriculum and local context to accelerate digital financial literacy program. And communities that have many members, in particular vulnerable members, and focus on educational issues are very important to be involved. So the digital financial literacy or even digital literacy mostly have a higher proportion or higher percentage on the person that have higher level of education and also have high level of income. So it's very important that government to focus on vulnerable members, yeah, like a poor one and also the disability or the woman groups. And also it's very important to have a community mapping, yeah. In Indonesia, I am mapping to communities that are eligible for this, like Muhammadiyah and also Nahdlatul Ulama. These two resource-based organizations have access to millions of grassroots members, have education institutions, and charismatic local leaders. The next step are on how tailor-made curriculum, setting up the language and the tools to educate. This combination will help to be a key of a successful cultural barrier solving to promote digital financial literacy to rural and vulnerable population. Next. What happened in Indonesia maybe has done some in China and India. In China, the government of China has created some China Foundation of Alleviation with an NGO and also CD Finance startup. Yeah, in 2016, the three organizations jointly initiated the year financial education pilot program in 10 poverty-stricken program. Yeah, so in China, they try to use an NGO and also a startup. They're missing a community. In India, the NGO also try to empowering the powerless, educating the uneducated through the initial fintech company. So they also use NGO, yeah, but they also missing the specific community, yeah, to help them to solve the solution of to solve the problem of financial literacy. Okay, next. So in conclusion, yeah, the community-based solution have the ability to reach a wider audience, and through endorsement of G20 member countries, it may allow for a worldwide action plan that is all-inclusive. So we propose the community as a part of solve the problem of financial literacy, like so stakeholder-based solution actually, yeah, from the NGO, the startup, the government, and the also community. Why the community approach is very important? Because the community approach is helping us, yeah. For example, in the time of COVID, the community power can help change the behavior that are anti-vaccine or even anti using the using the mask, yeah, etc. So the community power is and community leader is very important to change the behavior, and we think that it's very good solution, yeah, to promote financial education. And also the key of community approach is mapping power relation in society, which leaders community have a stronger influence to shape knowledge or behavior of a community. So it's not always a religious leader. In every country, there will be a different kind of leaders. So it's very important to have a mapping power relation in society. G20 leaders need to reinitiate principle for developing target approach to raising the digital financial literacy for specific groups such as gender, urban, rural, small, large firms, rather than a uniform approach. The approach should be inclusive. Next. So in 2016, we know that G20 leaders already focused on digital financial literacy and endorsed the high-level principle for digital financial inclusion, which include Principle 6 on strengthening digital and financial literacy and awareness. But however, as I mentioned in the beginning, most national financial education strategies do not address digital financial literacy specifically, but instead focus on basic financial concept. But in financial concept in general, it already done, yeah, by the most government, like how to have a savings and also knowledge of the investments, etc. And moreover, the most important thing is G20 has not yet developed guidelines for digital financial literacy or digital financial education and promote it into the community approach. And community approach adopt to be a part of it, especially to tackle cultural barriers, obstacles to rural and vulnerable population. Okay, so that's it for my proposal to the G20 presidents.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Gusti Radhanata, for delivering the presentations. Yeah, so I think we will have the question and answer after the sessions is over now. So thank you very much once again, Pak Gusti. Now we proceed to the next speaker. So it is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Ibu Grace Henny. So she is a director of 168 Solution, and also Mr. Joseph Lumban Gaul from co-authors TF2 T20. So today she and he will present about the MSME data as a foundation for digital economy. Without further ado, so would you please welcome Ibu Grace and Pak Jo. Please, Bu.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Santi. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope my voice loud and clear.
Yes, Bu, it's very clear.
Greetings to Mr. Dr. Sandiaga Uno as the Minister of Tourism and Creative Industry, to Mr. Engineer Edi Satria as Deputy of Microbusiness from Ministry of KUMKM, Thanks for Professor Suhono Harso Supangat and moderator Ms. Santi for hosting this discussion. I'm Grace Henny and will be helped by my colleague, Mr. Joseph Lumban Gaul, will be presenting the MSME data as the foundation to Indonesian digital economy. As opening, let me show you the typical story of micro business locally in Indonesia, and we do believe that this also applies globally. Okay, those are the struggles and challenges typically, and we see that they're similar to everywhere also. Based on the research, the population of MSME globally from Statista.com, we find out about 230 million component contribute from EMEA, APAC, and America, while comparing to Indonesia, the population about 60 million. Okay, for Indonesia, the summary contributing the MSME is contributing to 60% of Indonesia economy, with the total GDP prediction is $1+ trillion by year 2018 alone. But the backdraw is only 32% financial inclusion rate. Okay, our proposed focus on paper is actually talking about MSME data as a national asset management. Okay, we believe that data is the new oil. Okay, and the three building blocks of asset policy is registration, meaning the onboarding process with the data validity assurance. Second pillar is the education to build the MSME capacity building to be sustainable. And the last one is advocacy, focusing on data protection, security to prevent especially predatory business practice from industry player. We have to protect the MSME from the vicious cycle so they can escape and move forward to upgrade themselves. Okay, I stop here. I hand over to my colleague, Mr. Joseph Lumban Gaul, to continue. Please, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks. As our thesis proposes that MSME as the foundation to digital economy transformation, and MSME data must be treated as a national asset. Let me start with elaborating the key challenges before proposing a policy framework. Next. Next, please. So first, the technical challenge. So we believe that comprehensive policy is mandatory to develop a technical solution to address these critical challenges to build MSME data platform as foundation to digital economy due to geographical challenge, the cost of data acquisitions, data management, and data security, and also technology infrastructure complications for a robust data management platform. Next. From the human capacity perspective, the challenge is critically literacy, because most of MSME literacy is generally very low in using digital tools, financial service, and economy and business management in general, right? In addition to that, the low awareness of the importance of personal or business data, or known as KYC, know your customer data, as an entry requirement to a digital economy, and moreover, a lack of knowledge and appreciation of the value of their data themselves as digital assets. So, a strong policy and industry incentive in elevating MSME literacy is believed to accelerate the digital economy transformation. Next. From commerce and financial service institution, MSME generally has lack of access to internal trade data, and the high entry barrier to access formal and regulated financial service institutions leads to choosing the alternative informal and non-regulated financiers. And then this, of course, opens up to the options for predatory or unfair trade practice, as Grace Annie mentioned earlier. And then also the limited options to logistics and working capital brings them into the unfair fee structure brought by the middleman that makes them stay in the vicious cycle and then never break out to grow their business. Therefore, digital economy transformation will be accelerated with a strong policy that advocates MSME to access more options of commercial data and financial service. Next, please. From the social and cultural perspective, we highlight that the social engineering through social media platform are still a very dangerous area where MSME is most vulnerable to be the victim of scam. And social and cultural construct also still leave a very big space for subjective business decision making by MSME owner due to primordial factor and moreover gender inequality, where mostly women and underage business owner is considered unqualified to make a business decision. So they got under influence of somebody who has the power over them. And to address this, we believe that a national MSME education policy, which I believe was touched also by the previous speaker, is believed to build a strong foundation of a sustainable and inclusive digital economy. Next, please. So at last, these are the proposed policy framework that we built in a 3-pillar as a perspective. One is the premise that we propose that MSME is actually a national digital assets. Therefore, it must be regulated with a data management policy, and it must be designated a competent government agency as custodian, right? Secondly, the capacity building of MSME is critical. Therefore, it has to be supported by a national policy to continuously improve MSME value as national asset through the education policy. And last but not least, an MSME, which is a national asset, therefore assets must be protected. And then we propose that MSME protection policy must be defined thoroughly to advocate MSME from their vulnerability of the highly competitive global economy system. Next. And then I think this concludes our paper. Next, please. So let's recover together and recover stronger with a stronger MSME policy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Grace and Pak Jo, so for the great presentations and for sharing with us. So just a reminder for the participants, so please be sure to type of your questions in the questions box in your Zoom chat and also YouTube live chat. as follows: the name, origin of the agency or the institution, and also the speakers and also the questions. Okay, and now we proceed to the next speaker. So it is now my pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker from Argentina, Professor Gabriela Rigoni, professor from Universidad Nacional de La Plata. Today, she will present about the promoting SMEs and fair trade in the digital economy. Without further ado, would you please welcome Professor Gabriela?
Thank you, and really thank you for your kind invitation. It's a huge honor and privilege to share this seminar with all of you. As Indonesia, Argentina is a developing country that needs to seize this opportunity to create jobs that your tourism minister clearly stated before. And like your SMEs deputy pointed out, now it's the time after COVID's pandemic that digital economy boomed. We have to seize that opportunity. MSMEs contribute to 44% of Argentina's GDP and are the biggest employers in our economy. More than 50% of jobs depend on them. So we're not that different from Indonesia. We need to think about how we can help them locally and globally with G20 policies. The proposals I will address were prepared with Professor José Stracuadaini from the University of Buenos Aires, here also in Argentina. So I start presenting them. We addressed in our policy brief the access to data, the access to finance, and the access to technology. We need to promote development and growth, and that entails addressing barriers usually added to the difficulties of the context in which MSMEs are immersed. SMEs are in more need of policies to aim a global recovery from COVID-19. They are already considered by the UN, the OECD, the IMF, and the G20 should also consider that. The digital economy could boost SMEs development and promote entrepreneurship, help community projects create value, and reach consumer groups to achieve true local development and promote a digital-led global recovery from COVID-19. The limitations to MSMEs are barriers of distance and borders, the access to marketing tools, the deficit of knowledge and awareness of chances and new business opportunities, poor ability to change, and competitive disadvantages. MSMEs don't have the same access to all of these, so digital economy platforms are the ideal solutions as markets for them. The digitalization can help them access a broader market, integrate global markets, integrate global value chains, become competitors in niche markets, and reduce size disadvantages in international trade. But digital economy shows the same traditional market failures as the traditional market. So if we consider that already we established from the OECD and forward that digital economy should not be ring-fenced, if digital platforms show the same market failures as regular ones, as traditional physical ones, those market failures should be addressed as well. Also address particularly vulnerable groups. We already talked about this in one of the presentations, rural areas, women, and many other groups. Many policies are in place to address market failures in the traditional market, but they should be addressed also in the digital economy. The G20 should provide tools to address these competition issues in digital economy. Our proposals include subsidized costs of digital technology itself and those associated costs related services, and access to them. We especially propose a digital space quota. We know in the traditional market, we secure a shelf space for SMEs in supermarkets. Despite slotting allowances, a policy applied in many G20 countries already, so SMEs should be ensured a quota of the preferential space in the digital realm. MSMEs' survival should not be dictated or depend by an algorithm. That's something really important if we understand the huge impact of SMEs in our economies. Other proposal refers to fair trade initiatives in the digital realm. Usually, this fair trade initiative refers to a certification that aims to ensure a set of standards met in the production and supply of a product. It includes worker rights, safer working conditions, and fairer pay. We propose to extend them to the relation between digital platforms and MSMEs. And last but not least, we propose specialized digital marketplaces, local and regional community projects to facilitate consumers on the surrounding areas to access these SMEs products. For instance, we have here in Argentina lately some digital local fairs. They grouped together, they clustered with vertically integrated products and reduced transportation and logistics costs. This example I took was from one of our provinces, local producers of babies' clothes and babies' diapers, and they prepare this local fair, this digital local fair, and they unified all the cells to reduce this logistics cost and get to everywhere in the country. So it's really feasible. It's not impossible to achieve this fair. We understand, I repeat, all MSMEs together are the biggest employers of any local economy all over the world. It's not only Indonesia, it's not only Argentina, it's Italy, it's everywhere in the world. So it's a G20 issue. MSMEs are the economic backbone of society everywhere. So the G20 must empower MSMEs to reach healthy, inclusive, and sustainable economic development. Thank you, and thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Gabriela, for the great presentation and also sharing for us from Argentina. So I think the last but not least, it's my pleasure also to introduce our guest speaker and our colleague, Dr. Imade Arya Sanjaya, as the CEO of the Kazi Digital Indonesia. Today, he will presenting innovative technology of SME, startup, and also creative industry. Please welcome Dr. Arya.
Thank you, Bu Santi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. It's an honor for me to be able to speak in front of all of you in the event of G20 and GoSmart 2022. It's part of the TF2, Harnessing Digital Technology to Accelerate SME Startups and Creative Industry. I would like to start for the G20 with the condition of SME, startup, and creative industry ecosystem in Indonesia. If you look at the number, Indonesia has 2,346 startups, which is, it means that Indonesia is the sixth most in the world that has so many startups. And then the number of MSME in Indonesia is around 64 millions. And then there are 8.2 million creative businesses in Indonesia. It means that Indonesia has a huge number of MSME. And if we look at the supporting system of Indonesia ecosystem, startup, MSME, and creative industry, Indonesia have programs and innovations programs that supported by almost of all ministry in Indonesia, from Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Creative, and other ministry in Indonesia. And then it is also supported by SOE, state-owned enterprise, universities, associations, and private company in terms of education, training, incubator, and accelerators. And also there are government funding for MSME in terms of COVID recovery. In 2020, government fund around 28.8 trillion rupiah. In 2021, 14 trillion rupiah. And this year, 2022, around 15 trillion rupiah. And not only that, we also have a success story with 12 startups unicorns. Go to Traveloka, Bukalapak, OVO, GDID, Blibli.com, Ticket.com, and 3 of them, such as Sandit, Ajaib, and Kopi Kenangan, are born in COVID time. So COVID not only have a bad impact, but also a good impact for some startups. And I would like to highlight the uniqueness and lesson learned from Indonesia that could be used for the G20 countries. The first one is Indonesia as a country with the largest Muslim populations. So Indonesia could harness the digital technology for halal industry, and the lesson learned could be used by the G20 country. And how about the SME adaptation during COVID? We all know that when during COVID, especially F&B, they are using everything frozen, everything delivery, everything online, healthy purse, and then active promotion. And then also some of the innovations, there are some of the innovations that show stronger in using digital channel, such as the changing of working behavior from startup and MSME, using online sales, marketplace, using HR apps, and then adoption of Peduli Lindungi, not only in a small market, but also in all of Indonesia market. And then the rest of digital payment, digital tourism, digital health, and others. And how about the after pandemics? Maybe some of innovation stay, and then some of innovation may be changed, such as the changing of digital tourism to offline tourism. So this is the startup and creative industry challenge and opportunity for G20. I would like to highlight 3 points. The first is optimizing access to information. So we would like to make an information accessible to all of the SME, startup, and creative industry. Because for the example, there are still underserved SME that some location or regions that lack access to information. For example, in Indonesia, 49% of Indonesia adult citizens don't have access to internet. And then scattered of information, there are several programs. There are so many good programs and from different entities, but maybe there's no integrations between one and the others. The second one is the challenge and the opportunity to optimize SME financing. So it is has been told by Bu Grace about the lack of data, about the importance of data about SME. and then it will be implicated to the distributing the fund to direct SME. And then the last one is the opportunity to promote the halal industry innovations on digital economy potential is one of the unique trait of Indonesia. So the number one, to optimize the information dissemination to creating opportunity for all is number one, the policy to about the information dissemination programs. First, we should collect, aggregate, and aggregate information about SME programs in one aggregated platform from the government, local government programs, private and SUC programs, and also university. And then collaborate with conventional and digital channel to inform and communicate about the programs. The SME couldn't get the benefit from the programs if the SME don't know about the programs. And then digital SME information, it's like toolkits that could be accessed everywhere. It's like a digital SME playbook. And then the collaborations between G20 countries to find a new way to communicate better to inform the citizens or SME efficiently. And also we should measure and evaluate the dissemination programs and then share the lesson learned. Number two is to optimize SME financings as the collaboration program to digitize SME financing on growth and innovation. It's also related with Bu Grace, what Bu Grace mentioned about the SME data acquisitions. It's like a SME credit scoring or SME EQYC. We could get the SME data with the partnership between government and private companies to get the information about SME performance. For example, Gojek data or Grab data, they have the performance of the online order from the SME. And from that data, the government could have a flexible SME financing based on SME profile. So the government could tailoring government grant and loan and investment to the right target. And last is the collaboration between G20 countries in innovation for better SME financing, in exchanging information and lesson learned in SME financing, or utilize the G20 Innovation Network to connect between SME in G20 countries. And the last, and this is the example of the government digitalization program for SME. Bu Gabriela mentioned that as MSME marketplace, we do have Bu Gabriela in Indonesia. There are catalog electronic or e-catalog. Government Indonesia provide 1,100 trillion rupiah every year for the government project. And then government allocate 400 trillion rupiah per year for MSME. So it will drive the innovation from MSME to absorb the government project funds. And then also the OSS, online single submissions, to speed up business implementation for SME. And then the last one is Padi UMKM, a digital platform that brings together MSME with SOE to optimize, accelerate, and encourage efficiency of SOE spending transaction for MSME. So Padi UMKM is like e-catalog electronic, but from the state-owned company. And then the third one is promoting Indonesia experience in harnessing technology for halal industry. Why halal industry? The first one is because Indonesia is a country with the largest Muslim population. It represents 33% of Muslim populations of the G20 country. And for MSME, halal certification and halal commodity is part of Indonesia SME needs. And then it's also part of Indonesia Sharia Economic Master Plan to strengthen the halal food value chain using technology 4.0. And although the largest Muslim consumers are in Asia, 63.3% of the world Muslim, but the halal processed food exporters come from non-Muslim countries, such as Australia, Canada, France, and New Zealand. And then the impact on the economy is the contribution of Muslim to the halal lifestyle is amounted around 2.2 trillion rupiah in 2018. So what are the opportunities? The first one is extending and exchanging technology capability and economic opportunity between G20 countries for supporting the halal industry. And the second one, creating the same framework for understanding of the importance of halal industry, not only for Muslim country, but for non-Muslim country. And the last one is creating platform for exchanging idea discussions for new collaboration and opportunity. And so it's the summary. Indonesia has excellent supporting system for SME, startup, and digital creative ecosystem. But there are some opportunity and challenges to optimize digital economy. First, we need collaboration and policy to optimize MSME access to information. We need cooperation and policy to optimize SME financing. And Indonesia should promote the potential of the halal industry in digital economy. We need to continue supporting the good effort from G20 countries in harnessing digital technology for SME, startup, and digital creative ecosystem. That's it. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the great presentation from Dr. Arya. So now we move to the next agenda is the questions and answer. So thank you once again for all of the great presenters. Yeah, so we will have some time for the questions now. And there are some questions that already come up to the webinar session for today. So the first, let me share the first questions from Aruna Gohil from Argo Environment Solutions. So the questions is to the panelists, yeah, all of the speakers. How much is the GDP contributions of startups and SMEs run by women to the economic progress as regards smart city development and digitalized technology growth? Probably who wants to answer the first questions from Aruna? Yes, Professor Gabriela, please.
Yes, well, in Argentina, we don't have this properly measured, but last year in the T20 Italy, I was part of a policy brief on empowering women entrepreneurs, and we worked with this, especially we don't have it measured anywhere, not only in Argentina, but we know that women are especially strong in MSMEs and are especially strong in this new digital area. We know in Argentina we have a lot of women entrepreneurs, and we need to fund them. We need to help them improve their reach to everyone, to really create broader markets. So we don't know precisely because it's not something measured. Not only, I repeat, in Argentina, I don't know in Indonesia, maybe some of the other panelists can say it better, but I think nowhere, anywhere in the world is really properly measured. We just know it's not a small number. We know there are a lot of women working, and because of, I don't know, the family starting and everything, it's really usual to have women entrepreneurs. We need to help them especially.
Okay, thank you for sharing with us. Yeah, in Argentina, a lot of entrepreneurs, as women entrepreneurs. Yeah, as Professor Gabriela mentioned, I think the same the conditions in Indonesia as well. Okay, who
Can
was?
I share also,
Yes,
Ms. Santi? Yeah,
good.
okay.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Agree with Miss Gabriela that I think everybody have a homework to measure it properly, so we can see the potential and who's doing. But there's a lot of challenge also. I mean, it's not only women. The common data is also we have facing challenge. Okay, but one thing for sure and stays in my head, I remember exactly about after pandemic, about 1 or 2 years ago, there's an e-commerce platform in a big forum, and the founder stated there's a very interesting fact that during the pandemic, the numbers of micro business who enter the platform is almost 90+% is women. Very, very micro, because they are forced by nature, they have to have a living, right? Okay, their family being disband, no money, lay off, things, pandemic, cannot go out, mobility. So and maybe because women is multitasking by nature, it's just my saying lah. Okay. But that's the one thing fact that it was present by this e-commerce platform, very branded and big known. And it stays in my head that these women is really struggle to feed their family, to help their husband. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bu Grace, for sharing. Yes, agree that a woman is multitasking, yeah, Bu. Yeah, it's true. We need to struggling and then surviving, yeah, especially during the pandemic. Okay, from Bapak probably from.
Yeah. Santi, can I? Oh yeah, thank you, Santi. Yeah, in terms of women, yeah, I think we don't have any data yet, yeah, available. But as far as I know, that Indonesia started to create one data, especially for SMSE, that more accurate. So it will be start this month and ended this end of year, yeah, about November, yeah. I hope through this data we can have the more accurate data about how many women are there that contribute to the PDB, GDP. But in general, the SMEs contribution to Indonesian economy is almost 60% of our GDP. It's around 8.6 trillion. For digital economy itself, in 2025, we expect to achieve 146 billion USD. So the case is in Indonesia that we have very big potential of digital economy and also SMSE. And SMSE, as Pak Edi mentioned in the beginning, in his opening remarks, SMSE is almost like our big backbone. Yeah, the COVID crisis is not always impacting to the SMSEs. Even the palm oil crisis today, I think MSMEs have absorbed the problem itself. If you remember that the pisang goreng or croquette, yeah, all the spicy things that we ate, it's almost used to palm oil, and they don't increase the price when we buy it. So SMEs even absorb the crisis itself. So we need to help them to achieve the potential through the digital technologies and also credit access, yeah, to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sandy, can I add on?
Yes,
I'd like to share.
Yeah, Pak Jo, please.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and also I'd like to share my empirical experience during the past 5 years, building the network of MSME trading retailer, right? The interesting part is if you go to the field, mostly you find it's actually the women. Probably empirically we can say that 50% it's run by women. However, because of the social and culture, when they got to register their business, they always use the name of their husband or their parents, which is generally male, right? So this is one of the challenge that we need to also find in order to eradicate the gender inequality, but more fundamentally, I think that we're challenging still. How do we register all of this MSME properly? Because we don't have such a single repository of data of MSME itself, right? That's why we propose that we need to start by developing a policy to build this national repository of MSME data as the foundation to digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Joya. So from the empirical fields that you see that many women run a business, yeah, but especially when register their business, took by the men. Okay, thank you. Probably the last is from Mas Ari. Yes, yes.
I think I really agree with what Bu Grace said, that from the data in one of the marketplace, that 90% of the woman is doing a business online. So I really agree with what Bu Grace said.
Yes, very much. Yes. Okay, thank you, Mas Ari. Okay, I think we still have another questions. Let me read the question from Ricky Helmi, UAI, to Professor Gabriela Rigoni. How to possible way to accelerate the SMEs to reach the global market?
Well, in Argentina, we have several programs in order to help the MSMEs access external markets, especially on industrial ones, the ones that produce many products of usual use in household, and they were working really well. And besides, we have there's a difference with Indonesia. We have many agricultural SMEs, and these SMEs, many of them were trying to develop organic products, and those organic products are really well received abroad. So these government measures really help them reaching Europe and other countries that really appreciate organic products. We don't have a garment industry really so strong in Argentina, not like yours, but our small businesses really are really diverse. So we have a lot of diversity in economic products to sell, and on industry, and especially on agricultural products, organic products, we have these programs from the government to help them export these goods.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Gabriela, from sharing from Argentina sides. Yeah, so you have in Argentina there are many government programs, especially to accelerate the SMEs. Yeah, as you say that many agriculture SMEs in Argentina, such as organic products. So the government try to help to enter the global market. That's very good. Yeah. So I think Indonesia also, the government also have many programs, yeah, to accelerate the SMEs, I believe. Okay, thank you very much. The next one is from Imadul Awalin from USK. The question is still for Miss Gabriela. So hi, I am Imadul Awalin from Aceh, Indonesia. I want to ask about how to develop the human resources. For example, there is a child, he has a potential idea, about the business, but he doesn't have the capital. So what can Professor Gabriel help us, the young Indonesians? Thank you.
Well, that's not an easy one. The Americans, I think, they have this phrase. They say it takes a village. So I think it takes a whole country. It takes everyone. So you need to teach in the university. My colleague Jose is a marketing teacher, so he knows perfectly these problems. They create these projects every semester, and first of all, you need to teach. The second part will need finance. Every time you have a beautiful project, you need money to boost it. So the second part needs these programs from the government anywhere, especially in our developing countries. So I think it's not that easy, but if you can reach those two parts, the teaching part in order to have the information you need to develop your business, and the finance part many times from the government, you can really reach anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabriela. Yeah, I think it's not easy task, yeah, as Professor Gabriela mentions. Of course, that also we need to collaborate and also help from the university, yeah, by creating the project in the university every semesters, and then also to get the financial support. Of course, also we need some support from the government side. Okay, thank you very much. And the next one is the questions coming from Dita Trisnawan from University of Indonesia. This is the question for all the speakers. I think that all the creative SMEs in all G20 countries need to be more aggressive in collaborating with other SMEs within the G20 countries. By doing this, we can recover stronger, faster. So what do you think of this idea? Okay, please, probably who wants to answer the first?
I think, can I answer, Ms. Santi?
Yes, Bu Grace, and then after that, so
definitely is a good ideas, okay? And I think Pak Arya should lead the platform, okay? Collaboration takes a place to, a platform to meet, to introduce, to change, exchange ideas, right? Okay, what are you doing? Who's doing what? So we can see the ecosystem and link between each other. So identify also the stakeholder within the ecosystem. I think that's one of the starting point of the activities. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Grace. Yeah, so I think we need a platform, yeah, which is the collaborative platforms, how to orchestrate the G20 countries, especially to accelerate the SMEs. And also from Indonesia, we have Kazi, yeah, as well. Okay, probably Mas Arya, could you maybe
I think we should analyze first the type of the business that SME category, right? If the business type is online products or like SaaS, software as a service, from the first start, from the first day, we could be going to internationals. We could be global from the first day. But for the SME that don't have the good quality products, or maybe struggle to get the client or get the customer in local, I think it's not good to be aggressive. So it's depend on the stats of the company. I think government in Indonesia is already have the programs for the curation, whether the SME, it's good to to be exported to another country. It's one of the solutions. And the second one, I think the MSME should get the informations. As I said in the presentations, we have a good programs, but if the SME don't know about the programs, I think the program is not working. And it's one of the main problems in Indonesia, especially for the government. I don't know about the other country, but the dissemination of program, the way of we communicate to the SME, it's very important. I have a funding. We have funding from government. For example, 200 trillion. The target from the Pak Luhut for the e-catalog is 200 trillion rupiah. It's really huge. So the question is whether the SME know about the programs and whether they have the capability to absorb the funding, because it need the capability, need the preparations, and then it need innovation to absorb the 200 trillion rupiah that already dedicated for the MSME from Indonesian government. We should appreciate the government of Indonesia for this program. So that's it to answer from me.
Okay, thank you, Mas Arya. Yeah, so the way to communicate to the SMEs, I think it's a big homework as well. Yeah. Okay, who is the next presenters who wants to answer the questions?
Can I, Bu Santi?
Yes, please, Pak Gusti.
Okay, thank you for the question, Pak Dita. Yeah, I agree with Pak Arya that we need to curate all the SMSE and need to classify which kind of creative economy that we want to export, and collaborate, because creative economy is like a broader terms, like it can be like a music, anything, designs, etc. So we need to classify and curate which one is the most developed MVP, like most valuable product itself. And after that, we can get some kind of platform, as Bu Grace mentioned, and also connect it with the ecosystem in the international level, not only a national level in Indonesia, for example. Like, for example, in Indonesia, we have Exim Bank that it can help the export and import of anything, like it can be like agricultural goods and also creative economy right now. And in international level, actually, World Economic Forum and also WTO also have the kind of forum or a platform that share the information of which barriers in each countries if we want to send a product or exporting the product itself. So based on these platforms, I think it can be started, but the problem is which SMEs or creative economy can understand this kind of platform. That's also the problem that need to be addressed to a lot of creative economic players in the Indonesia, not only Indonesia or G20 members and also international levels. If anyone knows about these platforms, I think it's possible to create a collaboration between the SMEs who works in the creative economy field. That's from my side. Santi, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Gusti. I think we have the last questions from Anggi Elimar, KKIP, for all the speakers as well. The harnessing technology for SME startups and creatives should be ethical. In this matter, properly introduce and also distribute technology to the SMEs in all sectors. Preventing monopoly in technology and data, also promoting the spirit of solidarity economy. What practical policies that do you propose? Yes, probably wants to answer the question.
I jump in first?
Yes, please, Pak.
Very interesting question and a very good question, I believe, because I think especially digital economy is actually providing an opportunity for us to deconstruct and reconstruct the old economy to be more inclusive and more fairness. In order to do that, I think the first thing we need to develop is a policy, the inclusive economy policy, in a way that everyone should have the same access to data, to financial service, to all the resources that is required to develop a business, right? And then everyone should have access to the resources, how to build their capacity, right? So, and solidarity economy, of course, it will be achieved when a fair system is in place, right? So, but of course, because we are in the real economy is actually the healthy economy is also must be competitive. It cannot be all equal. So, but the level playing field must be the same access to all the resources, to information, to data, and to the business resources provided by the government at least, right? So I think that will be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the great answer, Pak Jo. And
Can I
then,
jump in?
yes, Pak Gusti, please.
Yeah. For the thing for any monopoly and solidarity economy, I think the most important is to how empower the antitrust institution. Yeah, this is very important since many startup, some kind of their exit strategy is want to be adopt or acquired by the bigger level of startup. Yeah, so that's the problem. And then how to create a more healthy competition in the digital economy is also how to make the government is there, like making some fair and strong regulation. Yeah, not that kind of regulation that will be kill the innovation from the industry, but how to help and promote and can have a balance between innovation and also regulation. So the startup didn't kill the SMSE, and also the bigger player of startup also didn't kill a low level of the startup itself. So it's important to have a government to regulate all these things. Yeah, example for Indonesia and FSA, they have a regulatory sandbox to create how the impact of the fintech, for example, to the economy. Bank Indonesia Central Bank also the kind of regulation. Yeah, the most important thing is how is antitrust can help to create a framework of this competition to make a solidarity economy works. That's it from me.
Okay, thank you, Mas Gusti. Is there any other speakers who want to give an answer? Yes, Professor Gabriela, please.
Yes, as we explain in our proposals, we really think the governments should promote fair trade initiatives. When we talk about fair trade, we talk about employers who have their employees duly registered, and we talk about fair pay in every step of the value chain. So in Argentina, we had some fair trade initiatives that really grew with the pandemic, specifically those regarding agricultural goods, especially fruits and vegetables. And those initiatives really had a lot of support from the public. Not only were promoted by the government, but they were really supported by the public, and they grew a lot. They grew maybe 3 or 4 times than they were before the pandemics. So really the fair trade initiatives are not to be seen so lightly. They really work if you promote them from the government and people really understand the difference. It's really different if I have a person working happily, properly paid, and we want to promote that and we buy those products. So it's possible. It's not that difficult. It's achievable, and we should work on those proposals.
Okay, thank you very much for the insight from Professor Gabriela. I think it looks like we have covered all of the questions. Thank you very much for all the great presenters for today. So let me conclude and also close the session for these webinar sessions. So I think according to the question and answer and also discussion with all of the great presenters for today's, I think COVID-19 already changed the impact on the world of economy. So also SME, for example, here as the backbone for Indonesia and then also in Argentina, they need to survive and also struggling. So MSME should have the dynamic capability, of course, to survive and then change from the conventional to the digital. I think there are many governments programs that already promotes for accelerating the SMEs, not only in Indonesia, but also in Argentina. And for all of the creative SMEs, especially in all G20 countries, of course, need to be more aggressive in collaborating with other SMEs by integrating the resource, and also within the G20 countries. Of course, also we need some platform, the collaborative platforms, empowering the antitrust, and also there are many developing inclusive economy policy, as mentioned by the presenters for today's, and also how to communicate for the SMEs, especially whether the SMEs know the programs from the governments, and then how to absorb the funding that provide, especially from the government side. Especially here, how to curate and also to classify which one the SMEs, and then let's together to make a digitalize for the SMEs, as one of the platform. We make a collaboration with all of the others. Okay, thank you very much, great. It has been our pleasures actually to host this event as the moderator for today. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Once again, Professor Gabriela, Mas Arya, Mas Gusti, Pak Jo, dan Bu Grace, and also our ministry for today's Pak Dr. Haji Sandiaga Uno, and also Professor Suhono, and also Pak Edi Satria. And actually, we appreciate all of you being here, even though the busy schedule. So we hope that we learn something here from these webinar sessions. Thank you again for joining us for today, and we'll see you for the next time. Please stay safe and healthy. Before we close, I think let me allow to make a photo sessions together. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Maybe Panitia can take a picture together, please. Thank you.
Okay. Dear all participants, please open your camera. We will start the photo. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all of the presenters and all of the participants. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Makasih.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela.
Thank you to
Thank
Gusti,
you.
Gabriela,
Have a
and
good
all
night.
the hosts.
All the hosts.
All the hosts.